Hi, I'm Charlie Hunnam, and I play Ed Gein in the series Monster, The Ed Gein Story. This is how I got into character as the real man who inspired characters like Norman Bates, Buffalo Bill, and Leatherface. My introduction to Ed Gein was through a long, very exciting conversation with Ryan Murphy. I was unaware that it was about me playing Ed Gein. I thought it was just a great creative conversation about a project he was working on, and then he asked me to play him, which I agreed to do sight unseen. And then I set about reading everything I could. I read every book that's ever been written about Ed Gein. I watched all of the documentaries, and increasingly did not like the version that had been explored in the prior historical texts and documentaries, and was very relieved when I finally read the scripts and was brought back to the most authentic and honest version of Ed Gein that's ever been told, which is Ryan Murphy's interpretation of who he was. I had to believe that Ed was a human being. We were not interested in what Ed did. We were only interested in why he did what he did. You know, there's a great quote that line between good and evil runs down the center of every living heart. Gotcha. Honestly, I was so afraid of doing this role. It took everything that I know and everything that I have inside me to sort of do it justice, because it was so great on the page. That I think the lesson I learned was that unless it's terrifying, the journey's probably not worth taking. To be pretentious and quote Carl Jung, in the filth it will be found.
I think I thought I might have been dreaming.
Playing Ed physically kind of sucked because I had put on some weight and then I had to lose all of that weight. What really sucks though is trying to keep weight off as everyone goes out for nice dinners and stuff. Over the course of 7 months of filming, we had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas, we had New Year, I had a birthday, and no cake for any of it.
Damn shame.
Ed's voice was one of the big challenges of my career so far. Honestly, it all came together with our fantastic executive producer and director, Max Winkler. We were just talking one day about all of the different versions of this voice we played around with, and he just said mother twice. He's like, I just keep hearing this like, oh, mother, mother. And I went, oh. We were looking for something that would feel authentic, but what I realized was that the accent was an affectation, was a reflection of who he thought his mother wanted him to be. She was the only person he had any interaction with.
Lord, I love you, mother.
And so the voice was trying to make her love him, and all she'd ever told him his entire life was that she hated him because he wasn't born a girl. And so when Max did that sort of thing, this haunted, high-pitched voice that he'd been hearing in his mind, I just went, you got it. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's a boy trying to get the love from his mother that she was withholding.
Don't break my heart, Eddie.
I won't, mother.
I did not let Ed go between finishing work and going back because it took a long time to find the character and feel like he was inside me, and I was always afraid if I let him go, maybe he wouldn't come back. And so I don't want to say necessarily I stayed in it, but I guess stayed in it. I just was constantly thinking about him and trying to understand the world through his eyes. And honestly, there wasn't a huge amount of downtime anyway. Like I would normally finish work, go home, have to like prepare for a few hours and then get a couple hours sleep and go back to work. So no, I didn't really let Ed go until the project was finished. I was very aware that it was going to be kind of an emotional experience for me saying goodbye to this character, just because I'd put so much work into him. And I took a few days after we wrapped. Everyone else went home and I stayed in Chicago and spent some time lying alone in the dark, just sort of like exorcising the whole thing out of my system. And then I went up to Plainfield at the cemetery where he is buried, which was eerie because it was also the same cemetery where he was exhuming cadavers to take home. But I went and just sat at his grave and, you know, had a chat and told him, I'm gonna drive home without you. You can watch Monster, the Ed Gein Story now, only on Netflix.